We've got our guest here, Coach Christensen, Warwick Boys Basketball. And 2020 had to be a really weird year for you. Lots of challenges here in your 6th year in charge of the program. Of course, lots of safety protocols, high school sports this year. You guys have to wear masks, all the time. Practice, when you're getting ready to do probably film session, even in the game. So what has it been like for you coaching in this COVID-19 kind of season?
Yeah, it was. I would say the off season coming in was very different. We're used to going to team camp and having summer league and pretty having a good idea about what our team's about, and none of that really happened. So just open gyms. We started wearing masks, obviously. I would say it took a couple of days to get used to it. We built up some endurance doing conditioning and building our way up. But I would say the guys have been pretty good. They've handled it pretty well. I would say the biggest thing is you got to have a bunch of masks to be able to swap them out, because once they become saturated with sweat, it gets pretty difficult. But as long as they each have a couple masks that they can swap in and out, they've been doing a pretty good job.
All right, so it will be a matter of having more than one for each kid in every game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and kids, we got obviously some kids sweat more than others, and I would say, there's guys who are going to have tons, and there's guys that are going to have a couple, but yeah, they're definitely going to have more than one to swap in and out as the game progresses and goes on.
All right. So as you guys were going on, it was an exciting time to get everything going. And then all of a sudden the plug was pulled. Winter sports paused until January 4th of 2021. So how did you have that conversation with your team, and what were they feeling?
Yeah, so a day or two leading up, we heard some rumors, heard some ideas that it might be getting paused. I mean, the message from us, the coaching staff, is right now you're still going to get a season. So, and until we hear otherwise, that's where we're at. So the message is find a way to stay in shape, find a way to prepare. When it's nice out, take advantage of it, and get out and get some shots up in the driveway or the park or something like that. But the message was just be ready for the 4th when it comes, and we'll get back on the court hopefully here sooner than later.
All right. Eric May, why don't you hop in here?
All right, so you're going to resume on the 4th. When do they think games will actually start then?
Yeah, so you got to have 15 practices as a total before the season, have your first game. So I believe our first game is the 11th as of now, and we still have the ability to have one more scrimmage in with those days. So I think we're probably going to try and get our second scrimmage in before we start the game. But as of right now, our first game is the 11th. But some people, if you started earlier and you already have your 15, you can start once you get to that 15. But I believe it's once you get back, you got to have 4, but we need 4 anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant.
And you're still looking at a 17-game schedule then?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the situation is on our non-league games, finding and plugging those back into some Saturdays and some spots where we can get those games in. But once we hear, I guess, the final about how many games we're going to get, we'll get that straight. So.
Okay.
All right. Tim, anything for Coach Christensen?
A couple questions, Coach. One of the areas in sports that everybody has noticed is that there are no fans in the stands. Now, a lot of times you got baseball, football, you got these huge outdoor stadiums, but basketball is a little different. And it's a very small area. The fans are right up close. Have you had any talks with your team about how it's going to be in the gym, where you can hear all the shoes squeaking, where you can hear the other coaches calling out? And then a follow-up question is, how much have you seen over the years where kids on your teams feed off the stands?
Yeah, obviously, I think you can, when you really watch the games that have been on TV, you watch the NBA games and you don't even notice there's no fans. But if you've watched some college games recently, it's really obvious there's no one there. And I think high school will kind of be similar to that. You got to create your own energy. A lot of that starts with the bench, the coaching staff, the guys on the floor. But in terms of defense and what we preach is you got to talk. The more talking we have on the defensive end, the better off we're going to be. So there's really no reason. We're going to know if you're not talking now on defense. So that part of it's removed. But obviously at Warwick, we have a good turnout. We have a great student section every year. We bring out a pretty good crowd most nights, and that part of it we'll miss a lot. But we're still going to, as of now at home games, we're still going to have a couple people and their parents and stuff like that. But that situation is so fluid, it can change any day. But we'll definitely miss the fans, but we're doing it for us too. We want to be on the court. We want to play games. Our guys want to play games for them and their teammates. and we kind of worry about that and let everything else fall where it may. So.
It is interesting, Coach, with the Warwick student section. They are one of the best in the league, so that will certainly be something that'll be missed that can kind of inject a little bit of energy into your squad. I'm also curious, when you're talking on defense through a mask or even offense, I mean, that could be a bit of a challenge, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, talk louder. Yeah. We've the practices we got in, the mask will obviously bring down the volume a little bit, but if there's nobody in there, still hear it. So we've been doing a pretty good job of that. We have some guys who are some pretty good leaders. I guess our vocal leader in practice, Corbin Horst, does a great job getting guys talking, and that's something where we can really focus on this year, because if a team brings their own energy and their talk on the floor, it can be intimidating to other teams that aren't used to that. So we've been focused on that a lot.
All right, interesting point there. Let's get into it. Let's get into your team. Bringing back a pretty experienced team, you have to be pretty happy with how the past few years have gone. You're back-to-back Section 2 champs. You've been the league runner-up for the last 2 years. So what's the team like this year? Who are the guys that we should be keeping our eye on and will be leading the team this year for Warwick?
Yes, we have some seniors back. Obviously, some names you'll recognize and maybe some you won't as much. Joey McCracken, Kai Sapala, Cam Hess, Desmond Taylor, Corbin Horst. So that's our group of seniors coming back. We're pretty excited about that group. They're experienced. They've been there. They've been in big moments. So, and then you mix in some guys that also have some experience. Tate Landis, especially Avery Sapp, Ryan Fink, and just some younger guys too. I think, and Chase Crawl, we tell him all the time he's played in as big as a moment as a bigger moment than most kids. So we have some younger guys too, I think, are going to contribute. So the experience coming back, I think we figured out we got 10 guys who've played in a varsity game coming back, which is the highest number we've had in the 6 years I've been at Warwick.
Eric.
You kind of led into my question here as far as, what you've been able to experience and benefit from is a deep bench the last couple of years. So yeah. I think that experience that you have coming back is going to play well for you guys.
Yeah, I think we're in the same situation. I think we have a pretty deep bench, deeper even than we've had in the previous couple of years. And that'll help you, especially with the mass that we were talking about, getting guys in and out, especially early, getting some breathers there. But yeah, the deep bench is definitely something that'll benefit us this year.
Tim.
Yeah, Coach, I want to talk a little bit about the whole mental aspect of this whole COVID-19. How is, we hear all this that everyone's got COVID fatigue. How is your team actually doing right now mentally?
I'm sure you've heard this, but kids are resilient. They know that the way we're going to be able to get on the court is wearing a mask and following our protocols and doing what we need to do. And our guys are willing to do that in order to have a season. And I hope for them and what they've gone through and what they've done to make the best of the situation they can, that we get there in January 4th, we start and we get to have our season. So, but again, I don't know if you saw there was a quote going around today that Coach Fisher had from Manheim Central. That was on social media, and no, you can't say better than how he said it. But kids are resilient, and they've been doing a good job getting through this. So,
all right. Well, when we're talking about the season, we're curious about your goals. As I stated, it's been a pretty good year, 2-year run for you, the 2018-19 and 2019-2020. So what do you guys have as expectations here for Warwick? And one of my big questions is, you've been to the league finals 2 years in a row. Is there some redemption that you'd like to get for a third shot here?
Yeah, if you ask our guys, they tell you they want to get back there and they want to finish off what's kind of been started with this older group, the seniors and juniors, and but with the situation we're in, and we've been talking about it here, we got to take it one day at a time. You don't get to jump to that point, and that's not guaranteed. With the whole situation, it's definitely not guaranteed just because you're showed up and people are picking you or whatever it is. But we're going to take it day by day. We're going to take it game by game and focus on that and get ourselves. And when we get to the end of the year, we hope we're fortunate enough to get ourselves in a position that we believe we can be in and where we want to be. and the experience we've had, we know what it takes to get there. We know what we need to do. We know how we need to take care of ourselves, and how we need to practice to get to that point. And we're gonna do everything we can. And our guys, I mean, the goals are there that they have set, and we're gonna take it day by day at this point. So.
Great. Eric, do you have one more question here to fire away?
Yeah, I want to ask about Kai Sapala, because this is a guy that we have seen grow over the past couple of years, and through the off season, you see some of his workouts on Twitter and the camps that he was in. I mean, he's got all the tools. I mean, he can shoot from the outside, drive to the basket, rebound. What's happening as far as him playing at the next level? What kind of looks is he getting?
Yeah, so right now he's getting some. He's getting some Division II. He's had a couple Division II offers. He's getting some Division III looks pretty much across the board, and he's just working, and he's taking his time. And basketball recruiting is a little bit behind football, because I know people see that all the time. So basketball is a little bit behind that, especially with the situation that's going on. I mean, college coaches don't know who's leaving, who's staying. So there's a lot involved. But in terms of him, the person, the player, what he's put into the game and improving himself, and the commitment he's made is out of this world. And he kind of deserves everything he's getting. And we expect a lot from him. And I think the scary part is he hasn't hit the ceiling, and he's only going to keep getting better the harder he works, and he knows that too. So.
Interestingly, when you had Ryan Shirk playing for you a couple years ago, there was a Twitter account that said, did Shirky make a three today? And I followed that thing religiously. I'm hoping someone creates, did Kai dunk today? Because I do anticipate him doing that a lot this season.
Yeah, it's going to happen a few times. I got to watch him in some AAU tournaments, and we actually got to play in a shootout at Cedar Cliff. So, and he had a couple there. So, it's kind of interesting, because as his high school coach, with not being able to do it much in the summer and the fall against other people, you didn't really get to see it all that often. But the opportunities we did, he got up there. So I expect him to do the same. So.
All right. Well, we hope to catch it on TV, Coach. We hope to have your squad on TV. Thanks so much for joining us on Sports Talk. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy some time off with the family, and we hope to see you right here on Blue Ridge 11 some point in 2021. Whenever winter sports gets back underway.
Yep. Thanks for having me, and I appreciate all the coverage you guys give us. And it's awesome for our kids to be able to sit back, and especially the situation with this year and people being able to view from home. Will mean a lot to a lot of people. So.
All right. We'll be there when we can. Coach Christensen, thank you so much for joining us.